Get ready, everybody, for a big fight in Congress about Big Pharma. The House will hold a showdown vote next week on Speaker Nancy Pelosi's bill empowering Medicare to negotiate drug prices, expanded Thursday to provide seniors with dental, vision, and hearing benefits not currently covered. Leading Democratic committee chairman said the Congressional Budget Office has indicated that Pelosi's bill would save the government $500 billion over 10 years. Which they pledged to use for new Medicare benefits and other healthcare priorities such as the National Institute of Health and the opioid crisis. These significant investments are made possible as a result of our promise to finally empower the federal government to negotiate lower drug prices for the American people, Dems said in a joint statement. While the bill is expected to pass the Democratic-controlled House, it has no chance in the Republican-run Senate. Most Republicans oppose authorizing Medicare to negotiate drug prices, arguing the job is better done by private insurers who deliver the program's prescription benefit. Okay, just so you know, it's journalistic malpractice that they didn't point out at the end there that that's nonsense. Because that is nonsense. Arguing, oh, no, the private system will take care of it better. But wait, we already have the private system in control, and we are the worst in the world by far. We pay like double, and in some cases more, what other developed countries pay for medicine. So that's just the cover story that Republicans give for allowing the corruption and accepting big pharma money and doing their bidding. They're not fighting for the American people. They're fighting for the drug companies. That's why they let the drug companies rob us blind. So here we have a rare instance of Democrats doing the right thing. This is the Democrats, they're going to pass this bill of Medicare negotiating drug prices and expanding Medicare to have dental, vision, and hearing benefits. Right now, that's not the case. They're going to expand it for that. And by the way, the cuts to drug prices, if this bill gets through, it's 40% to 55%. In some cases, it's over, half the price is off. You cut it half the price. That's amazing. So that's what this bill does. Now, Donald Trump said repeatedly he supports this bill. This is what he said when he was campaigning in 2016. He said it while he's in the White House as well. But we also reported that there was one meeting he had with pharma lobbyists. He came out of that meeting and totally changed his tune. And he was like, oh no, it would be unfair to the pharma companies to negotiate for the better prices, so it's not a good idea to do that. It took one meeting with a lobbyist who gave him some BS argument or promised him campaign funds, and he flipped immediately. Really amazing how that happened. He just turned on a dime. But see, now here's the thing. This is an instance of Democrats doing the right thing, unquestionably doing the right thing. Now, how much will they make this a thing? Because the Republicans are not going to want to talk about this publicly. And they're not going to want to talk about this publicly because their position is indefensible. Trump is not going to want to talk about it. The Senate Republicans are not going to want to talk about it. The Congressional Republicans are not going to want to talk about it. They're not going to want to talk about it because there is no, even their BS non-response can be ripped to shreds even by a terrible centrist corporate journalist. They're going to say, well, come on, you said our system now handles it well, but it just doesn't. We already know it doesn't. That's why our prices are through the roof, higher than any other country. What do you mean? That's not a response. You can catch them stone dead being incredibly corrupt here if you pump out the narrative and make it a thing. See, this is the problem, guys. We spoke about this when the Democrats actually passed a minimum wage increase. They passed it through the House, and then nobody talked about it. If you're going to do the right thing, you have to puff your chest out and walk around and do a media tour and say, we just raised your wages, American people. We just made the minimum wage a living wage. The Republicans are blocking it. 80% of the country agrees with us. Call the Republicans and ask them, why are you blocking this? Call your congressperson, ask them, why are you blocking this? Why are you against a minimum wage increase? We're trying to help people. We're trying to fix the problems. They're blocking an 80% favored policy? What is wrong with them? The Republicans are representing their big money donors. That's what they're doing. We're fighting the big money donors. That's what we're doing. If the Democrats made it a thing after they passed the minimum wage increase and made the Republicans defend their terrible position, this is how you win elections. This is how you shift the narrative. This is how you get some wind in your sails. This is how you make it likely you do really well in 2020. But instead, they did the right thing with the minimum wage bill, and then still, it was nonstop, wall-to-wall coverage on mainstream media of impeachment, and all the Democrats will go on these shows and only talk about impeachment, and they never brought up their minimum wage increase. And it's like, you guys couldn't be worse at politics if you tried. I mean, this is embarrassing. So now you're going to have a situation where you're cutting drug prices up to 55% and adding benefits to Medicare that people desperately need. You're going to do that, and then I guarantee you they're not going to talk about it. And then Donald Trump's going to skate on going back on one of his key campaign promises. Listen to me, guys. I guarantee you, even at least half of Donald Trump supporters, hearing this fact, that he backed off of a bill that would have cut drug prices, they'll turn on him for that. They will. They've turned on him before. They turned on him when he bombed Syria. There's been moments where like half of his supporters were like, whoa, I didn't sign up for that. I didn't want you to do that. You can get half of his voters to turn on him if you call out the fact that he's against the bill that would cut drug prices by half. So talk, go, do it. I find it astonishing that I have to come out here and do these segments. And ultimately, I'm shouting into the abyss because they're not listening. They're not going to do what I'm telling them to do. But if they did do what I'm telling them, they give themselves a much better chance in the upcoming elections. So it really is something else. And then also, you can make the argument about how they say, oh, we're fiscal conservatives. We don't like the deficit increasing. Okay, well, this bill would save the government $500 billion over 10 years. $500 billion this bill saves. And they're going to be against it? It's almost like they don't care about the deficit. It's almost like they don't care about, government spending and fiscal responsibility. It's almost like they're just slaves to their corporate donors, and in this case, Big Pharma. So, time to vote the bums out. Now go make that case.